Meet Hoffman's two-toed sloth, one of 6 sloth species that live in the rainforest canopies of Central and South America. About 50 million years ago, the first sloth species appeared in South America. These early sloths were very successful and spread northward into Central and North America. Ancient sloths came in many different sizes. The small tree sloths looked like modern sloths, but the giant ground sloths were about as big as elephants. Then, around 10,000 years ago, most of the sloth species disappeared, including all of the giant ground sloths. Today, the Hoffman's two-toed sloth is one of only 6 tree-dwelling species that survives. There are 6 species of sloth, including 2 two-toed species called Hoffman's two-toed sloth and Linné's two-toed sloth. There are 4 species of 3-toed sloths: the pygmy 3-toed sloth, the maned 3-toed sloth, the pale-throated 3-toed sloth, and the brown-throated 3-toed sloth. Most sloths live all their lives in trees, only taking short trips to the ground. Sometimes, however, sloths will cross open land areas to find new trees to live in. But in Nicaragua, a few Hoffman's two-toed sloths have been found living in dry grass and thorny shrubs instead of trees. The Hoffman's two-toed sloth is found in Central and South America, living in forests of Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, and Venezuela. It's a topsy-turvy world for a sloth because they spend most of their time upside down. From eating to sleeping, climbing and giving birth, sloths experience life from a different perspective. A sloth's legs are designed for hanging upside down. The front legs are a little bit longer than the hind legs, and their claws are long, thick, and curved to hook over tree branches. Hoffman's two-toed sloth's claws can measure 3 to 4 inches, that's 8 to 10 centimeters. Sloths have a foliverous diet. This means that they eat leaves, but they will also eat fruit and flowers. It takes an average of 16 days for a sloth to digest its leafy diet. This is the longest digestion rate for any mammal. Because they are so lightweight for their overall size, sloths are able to climb to the delicate uppermost branches of trees to feast on tasty new growth leaves. Sloths have a 4-chambered stomach to digest all the vegetation they eat. Like terrestrial ruminants, such as cattle, the sloth's gut has a bacteria that breaks down the hard-to-digest cellulose in their diet. But unlike other grass-eating species that are often quite large, sloths are small and surprisingly lightweight in order to live safely in the treetops. Hoffman's two-toed sloths are a buff blonde color over most of their bodies and darker brownish-gray on their heads and backs. During the rainy season, when algae grows in the grooved guard hairs, sloths have a greenish coloration to their fur. Sloths have big, round eyes that retract slightly when they're closed. Because of the eye shape, the thickness of the lens, and the circular pupil that rarely dilates, scientists believe that sloths are nearsighted. The sloth's nose is bare and has sweat glands. Their excellent sense of smell plays an important role in locating a mate. Male sloths scent mark the base of the trees they live in. A female can then locate these potential mates using her keen sense of smell. A sloth's teeth are made of dentin with no enamel and will grow throughout the sloth's life. The first tooth, called a caniniform, sometimes grows long enough to be seen when the sloth's mouth is closed. About once a week, a sloth will carefully climb down from the forest canopy to relieve itself. That means go to the bathroom. They do this at the base of the tree that it lives in. Slow-moving sloths must be very careful, though, because there's danger from predators, like jaguars, when they're on the forest floor. Sloths have the lowest body temperature of any mammal at 74 to 92 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 24 to 33 degrees Celsius. Their internal temperature is influenced by the external environment and fluctuates throughout the day. Sloth fur provides some insulation, but they will also seek sunlight for warmth. Sloths have long, coarse guard hairs and short, soft underfur covering their bodies. The guard hairs can grow up to 5.9 inches or 15 centimeters long. The shafts of these outer hairs are grooved, making it an excellent place for algae to thrive. Sloths have 3 types of algae living in their guard hair. And these algae provide the sloth with additional nutrition that's absorbed through their skin. The algae also gives the sloth excellent camouflage for hiding from predators like harpy eagles and jaguars. Under the fur, on each side of their heads, sloths have ears that look a little bit like a human's. Sloths don't hear very well, especially low-frequency sounds, because the inner ear is surrounded by thick bone. The sloth's neck is designed for upside-down living. The muscles and clavicle bones are thick and strong, and unlike other mammals that have necks with 7 cervical vertebrae, sloths have 5 to 8. Some sloths have been observed sleeping for as much as 18 hours a day. With an incredibly low metabolism and a diet poor in nutritional value, it's no wonder these sloths are such sleepy, slow-moving animals. However, in a recent study of wild 3-toed sloths' sleeping patterns, sleep occurred in durations of under 10 hours. Sloths are nocturnal, which means they are active at night. After spending the daylight hours sleeping, sloths begin to forage for food after sunset, but are ready to sleep again by sunrise. Sloths can swim. During the rainy season in the forest, sloths have been observed climbing down from their perch in the tree canopy and swimming using the dog paddle to other trees. Sloths become mature at 2 to 4 years old. Hoffman's 2-toed sloths have several mates during breeding season, and the males do not help raise their offspring. Pregnancy lasts between 11 and 12 months. Hoffman's 2-toed sloths give birth throughout the year, but most births happen between January and March. Females give birth in a tree to one baby that weighs between 340 and 454 grams. That's 12 to 16 ounces. Baby sloths are born alert with their eyes open. They are covered in fur with fully formed hard claws, and they're able to move about with strong grasping ability. A mother sloth holds her baby close to her belly and licks its face and head frequently for the first few days. The baby sloth clings to its mother, gripping with its claws and nursing for 5 to 15 minutes at a time. It will begin to eat solid food at about 15 to 27 days and start hanging upside down at 20 to 25 days. Baby sloths begin exploring away from their mothers at 41 to 54 days, and by 5 months they begin feeding on their own. At 6 months, Young sloths can climb down to the base of their trees to relieve themselves. Sloths usually live on their own and rarely spend time with other sloths, except during the mating season. Males and females have territories that overlap. These ranges usually have more than 3 females to 1 male, and the females' range typically contains more than 1 male. Sloth social bonds are strongest between females and their offspring. If separated from its mother, a young sloth will call in a bleating sound that the mother will answer reliably until the youngster is about 6 months old. Even after weaning, young sloths will sometimes remain with their mothers for several years. Even with their exceptional camouflage and tree-living lifestyle, sloths do sometimes fall prey to harpy eagles, ocelots, jaguars, margays, and sometimes anacondas. Cold temperatures are dangerous for sloths. Though it's covered in fur, a sloth's daily body temperature fluctuates, and its low metabolism rate affects its ability to stay warm. Exposure to cold temperatures for long periods also shuts down the helpful bacteria in the sloth's gut. The bacteria aids in food digestion, and without it, a sloth can be at risk of starvation. Sloths are vulnerable to habitat destruction and fragmentation when humans encroach on the tropical forest where sloths live. Habitat loss is one of the biggest threats to sloth populations. Sloths live in trees, and when land is cleared, sloth homes and food sources are destroyed. Saving sloths means protecting their forest habitat, and there are things you can do to help sloths no matter where you live. Help sloths and all animals by being a conscientious consumer. Find out where the products you are purchasing come from and how they were produced. Rethink the wrapping. Try to avoid products packaged in single-use plastic. Reduce your energy use. Walk, bike, or carpool to save gas. Unplug your electronics and turn off the lights when you leave the room. Plant a tree or a shrub. Creating habitat for native and migrating wildlife ensures the food web will thrive. Support zoos and conservation organizations that are working to save sloths. Find out what your local zoo is doing and how you can help. Start your own sloth awareness program and spread the word to friends, neighbors, and classmates about protecting sloths.